everyone, Scott Hansen here from NFL Red Zone. I hope you're checking out 1 hour of 5-Yard Rush, one of the best podcasts on NFL football in the UK.
What is happening, Rush Nation? It is a sort of makeup podcast, as you will. This is a pre-record. I'm doing this early Sunday evening. This will go out Sunday night, so just a couple of hours. But yes, apologies for Friday. We had a show all ready to go with Bob Lung, and long story short, I have a fracture in my toe, a stress fracture from hitting the exercise bike, and so had to go to A&E and get it checked out. The good news is it's fine, but the swelling basically hadn't gone down. So the classic 111, go to A&E, or it wasn't quite A&E. It was like minor injury called Miami, basically, to get it checked out. So yeah, unfortunately, I just had to get it x-rayed and get it sorted, but it's all good. I'll be fine. No major dramas, but it just meant I had to push the pod, unfortunately, but that's okay. We will get Bob on in a couple of weeks. We'll talk consistency because it's thoroughly important. So you're not going to miss out on much. We are going to do it. We'll just do it Friday this week, Friday next week. We'll do it soon. I'm going to reach out to Bob and we'll get it back in, but we will do it. So you'll have 1 week where there'll be 2 pods, which is great. Got a whole string of guests coming over the coming weeks, which is phenomenal. I can't wait to start churning out some of the guests we got and what we're doing with them. It's going to be really exciting. So today we're going to talk sleeper ADP. A couple of weeks ago, I did ADP on other platforms and looked and identified some values. Today we're going to do sleepers ADP. Sleepers ADP is quite difficult to get hold of. So I'm going to use the guys over at Draft Sharks who have highlighted this and keep up to date the sleeper ADP just to identify some values. And we'll do Superflex because I think the Superflex story is really interesting. And you can kind of take your conclusions from there and what you think by interesting, but I think it is. And we'll try and sort of pick out what we think is going on now and the influences of that. And I think the same influences from the last ADP video I did around dynasty players and best ball and driving outcomes. But there is some real peak values to there for those that do just draft off ADP. So good to know. And then we'll pick off, the one QB. And then I always think the more savvy players are playing Superflex anyway. So therefore, I think it gives you a good tell. What's coming on the channel soon? There is a surprise at the end of this video. So please do stick to the end of this video. We got a special surprise that we're going to announce at the end of this video. So very excited. Cannot wait for that. What I'm also going to start doing what I did last year, which is using my projections to come up with custom cheat sheets and custom plays for these charity tournaments going on. And I'm going to start rolling all those out in 15-minute videos. So you're going to have access to all of these. It's going to be really exciting and should give you some tips as to how you can try and win and advance in some of these amazing charity tournaments that are out there. They're going to start kicking off soon. Those of you that are going to be in London July 12th, I'm really looking forward to spending some time with you. My draft jersey has turned up and I'm very excited for it. So great. That's pretty much everything that's going on. We've got a great guest on Thursday coming. So do tune in for that. I will tease it ahead of time. Don't you worry. Let's get into this and let's start breaking down this ADP value. I'm just going to move myself to a place that I'm not in the way. I'm just going to have to go there, I think, which is annoying, but there we go. We roll, we ride. This is it. This is where we're going to go. So here we've got and if you're watching this on the stream, it will look bigger than what I can see. Here we have got, again, Draft Sharks talked about sleep ADP. So you can come on here. You can have a look at this. This is all about beating the market, right? And I'll put this link in the show notes potentially if I remember to do so. I've done Superflex PPR scoring, okay? And what it's telling you is what Sleeper's doing in comparison to market. So it's telling you basically what the market is doing instead. So it's giving you a good idea here in terms of what players are doing versus the Draft Sharks rankings and the Draft Sharks market. So this is redraft. We're not looking at Dynasty, but they do have Dynasty rookie response. So I do recommend this. It is very good. We got here our sleeper redraft 1 PPR Superflex ADP. You can see here Allen and Lamar Jackson are leading the field here at 1 or 2, with Chase coming in at 3. These minuses are suggesting it's a reach. Market index is saying it's a value. So Josh Sharks have basically, and with consensus of ADP, Lamar Jackson's going at 1. Josh Allen is a bit further down here. And again, same with Jamar Chase. The first notable sort of shock, I think, is Jaden Daniels. I think this, to me, feels a mistake. Taking Jaden Daniels this high, based on what he did last year, I don't think you're going to get the same as the CJ Stroud effect, but there's just something about there will be a significant change in Washington. There's also been a turnover of personnel. It's going to take a bit of time. I'm not saying he's not a bad QB. I'm not saying he's one you shouldn't take. I just wouldn't take him here as the third QB off the ball. I think it's rich. Same way I think Joe Burrow here is quite rich here as the fourth QB off the board. And if you notice here, we're seeing a significant sort of absence of QBs until here at Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, I think, is almost a value here. Like for me, I can't be taking Bijan and Gibbs over Hurts in the Superflex. That doesn't wash with me. This feels really wonky. So the ADP is feeling very wonky in this first round, and I don't think it's going to hold true much longer. And again, Bowers at 12, Ashton Jeanty at 13. These feel very wonky to me. We're pushing down the board. Patrick Mahomes here feels very, very wonky again at the 2-6. And again, we're looking at his ADP over dates here. And again, this ADP was only updated today or yesterday. So again, he was being drafted higher and it's gone down. I wonder if this is Dynasty and now it's going towards redraft. But again, this just feels wrong. I don't love this. I don't love Brian Thomas here. We talked about that at length on last week's show with Jim Coventry. I don't love Trey McBride here. I don't really love Nico Collins here. I mean, I think Christian McCaffrey's great value. And I think here you're starting to see some values come through. But again, I'm looking at these QB rankings and these QB values, and I just feel they feel very, very off. I've just highlighted the QB. So 5 QBs off the board in round 1, with Hurts being the 5th, just doesn't feel right. Mahomes at 6 doesn't feel right. Nick's at 7 doesn't feel right. Herbert this high definitely doesn't feel right. Like for me, I'm looking at these players and I think Baker Mayfield has to be up here ahead of these two. I think as well, you're looking at, and then I can see the tier break. But I'm looking at some of these guys being drafted, and you just think I don't quite see it. With some of the values being punched in here, CJ Stroud below Drake May doesn't feel right. Caleb, I kind of get it, but at the same point, I don't. Like I feel in a 12-team super flex, if you're getting, I mean, we're looking at the QB 12 coming off the board in the 410. Like that's not going to happen. This doesn't feel realistic. So I do feel that Sleeper's ADP is very wonky. And it doesn't quite sit right. And again, you can see when it's been updated. You can see the trend, and you can see when these markers are being updated. And they're being updated weekly. So this isn't the guys at Draft Sharks. This is the ADP on Sleeper. So there's a dynasty bias here that's still creeping in. The Bo Nixes, Justin Herberts, Drake Mays over some of the older QBs. Sure, I get that. And then, you can start to filter this out. The question is, when you start to see this, is what do you do? Do you start to reach for quarterbacks? Well, I mean, if I'm sitting at the 103, 104, Jalen Hurts is there. Yeah, I'm taking him because I think I like his ceiling of outcomes over any of these guys, and he's kind of proven it. And again, the market index is telling you that's it's telling you that he should be 5 higher. That he's dropped 5 on sleeper, so he should be at the 104. Which again, if you're tossing up between say Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts, then fine. I wouldn't do it, but I'm not going to be that far maniacal to go. Then that's the way to go. So I think that's really key to kind of understand this, to kind of get this picture and to look at what this is doing. We're going to go back to all here. So we almost have to take. In fact, we're going to switch this to 1 QB because I don't trust this. This doesn't feel particularly good from an ADP perspective. So I think actually we scrub it and we go into Superflex here or into 1 QB. So we're looking at the 1 QB redraft here, and it's got Chase, Barkley, Jefferson as a top 3. I don't think you can argue with it too much. I've already had my thoughts on Bijan Robinson at 400 million, Gibbs at 5. I don't love this. I don't love the regression that could be coming Gibbs' way. I don't love it here. CeeDee Lamb, maybe change of offense. I'd rather have Amon-Ra St. Brown. I feel more comfortable with that. Malik Nabers for volume, yeah. Upgraded quarterback as well. Puka Nacua, I don't love it. I talked about it in the last ADP value video there. It doesn't feel right with me. Derrick Henry, fine. I can get on board with him here, even in PPR. Collins, Brian Thomas Jr., I can't get there. Ashton Jeanty, I can't get here. Brock Bowers, I can't get here. I think these guys, even Drake London, I think is a little high here. I think Christian McCaffrey is the screaming value here, even with AJ Brown. I think these are the screaming values. I like Josh Allen in this range. I'd love him to go in the 3rd, but fine. I think JSN's high here. Almost like the value here. I love the value in Jonathan Taylor you're getting here. This is a reach at 3.5. Kyron Williams is a huge value here at 3.6. Garrett Wilson with all the traffic cleared feels good there. Terry McLaurin. This is the range it starts to feel good, right? It starts to look at this and you go, this kind of makes sense. I still think Marv Harrison's a little high. I think James Cook's a little high here. But given the amount of RBs that have gone, maybe James Cook isn't high. But I like him to be like an RB 15 this year. And I think that's just a touch high. I like this little turn here. This run of plays here in the 4th round is solid. I can get on board with all these players going. Alvin Kamara shifting up boards. And his movement is starting to really creep up. 5th, 6th round player now in the 4th round. Marion Hampton, love that. DJ Moore could get on board with that all day. Kenneth Walker, this is the range I feel pretty comfortable. So again, similar to the last video, I like the strategy of if you can get an anchor RB here, fine. But if not, I feel pretty good taking a couple of guys around here and stocking with an elite wide receiver and QB, and then going to get your running backs in what was previously coined the running back dead zone is absolutely littered with absolutely brilliant running backs now. There's some real values you can go and get in here. But the receivers are strong too. Cortland Sutton at 50 feels good. Zay Flowers 54 feels good. Devonta Smith 55 or 53. Sorry, he feels good here. I don't know if I love TJ Hawkinson coming off injury there, but okay. I'm not sure how I feel about Patrick Mahomes sustaining 2 top 60 wide receivers in total scoring. Don't see it personally. This is a bit of an area of concern here. I think Jameson Williams and David Montgomery are a little high here. I think Travis Hunter's a little high here. I think Ted McMillan's really high here. I love the value on Olave, Pacheco, Waddle, Addison. These all feel like amazing values here. Chris Godwin, Aaron Jones. These all feel like phenomenal values. Baker in the late 6th feels great value to go and load up early. Travis Kelce 7-2 feels good if he's got one more year in him. My buddy Jim Coventry was really high. Roman Dunte, that looks a good price. 7-4 feels like a good range for him there. So look, you're looking at these values, and there is some real value to be had here. Brian Robinson Jr. in the 8th, Deebo Samuel in the 8th, Najee Harris in the 8th. These feel pretty good if you want to attack these plays here. And then we got the news about Travis Etienne is going to be the starting back. He's sitting here at the 8th round, back into the 8th. This ain't going to last long. He's going to drive all the way up to the 5th. So love this for Travis Etienne. I do think you have to worry about the end of the season, but I think if he can get you off to a great start, I definitely see it happening for you. And then we get into the hundreds, and here is just a bit of a mixed bag of what you can get here. A lot of the people chasing dynasty pick. I absolutely love this pick here at 110, Michael Pittman. I know I called him last year and it failed. I think with Daniel Jones winning the job, I think this is going to be a year for Michael Pittman. They absolutely paid him to be an elite wide receiver. He's got the skill. He's got the talent. He didn't have the quarterback play last year. I think he's more likely to get that. I think we can see this dynasty influence here with Emeka Ibuka in here driving these up. But I do think that there's a stack to go into some of these older proven guys like Michael Pittman here. Just feels pretty good. So I'm looking at this strategy and I'm thinking if you can get an elite running back here in 1, feels pretty good. I don't feel like, I think for me, I'm looking at some of these reaches and I do feel they're reaches compared to what you can get in the later rounds. Like for me, I'd be comfortable taking a Henry or a Barkley in round 1. Other than that, if these fall to the back end of 1, I feel good. I'm not sure I'm taking them at 4 or 5. Give me Amon-Ra St. Brown, give me Malik Neighbors. But I don't love this necessary turn here. I think, I'd be quite happy to draft Christian McCaffrey in the first round. I'd be quite happy to take AJ Brown top of the second. I think there's some interesting, you got this sort of gap in class, these top 3 to what's next. I think there's quite a tier break, and I think there's quite a tier break from this little group here to what we've got here, and then you get a tier rise, players that can compete with the ones above, and then you get a little drop here, and I think this is where it goes a little wonky in arrears. So, excuse me. So I think actually I'm looking at this thinking I'd be quite happy to reach in some of these rounds, and I hate that term reach because I think it's nonsense. Well, I'd be quite happy to take Jonathan Taylor, Kyron Williams in the second over some of these other running backs and receivers. I think they set you up for a platform of success, especially over the likes of Jacobs. We know they've got the high ceilings in them, and we know they've got the talent around them. So, again, I give me Jonathan Taylor, give me Kyron Williams over Jackson Smith and Jigba, over Trey McBride, over Josh Jacobs, over Lab McConkey. I feel pretty good taking those guys there for sure. Chase Brown, I think, is a little higher. I think you'll be a little worried about this one. Breece Hall, how much he got left? I guess we'll find out. But if we look at these actual positional rankings, I think that's probably going to give us a good tale of where we are. So if we look at running backs here, this is where Sleeper and the market is telling you about running backs right now. That they have GT coming off as RB5, Achane 6, McCaffrey 7, Irving 8, Josh Jacobs 9, Taylor 10, which is, I think, is low. Kyron Williams 11, that's low. Chase Brown 12, don't feel great there. Breece Hall 13, James Cook 14. I mean, I don't hate it at 14, but that's his ceiling. And then you're drafting him there. If you've read what I wrote in the playbook, I'm worried about touchdown regression. I think this is his ceiling, and you're drafting him there. You're drafting him above ceiling here. You're drafting Breece Hall here at ceiling. Give me the guys like Alvin Kamara, Amari Hampton, Kenneth Walker. These guys could easily be RB1s. Joe Mixon could be an RB1. Give me these 4 over the previous 3 all day long because I like the ceiling of outcomes. Breece Hall could be a low-end RB1. James Cook, not going to get there. Chase Brown, don't think he's going to get there. Give me the guys, I think, underneath who are going to give you that ceiling play. There's no one on the Saints offense. So give me Alvin Kamara. Amari Hampton could clear the decks. Could be a slow start, but I think he can clear the decks. And again, the market agrees here. Kenneth Walker, feel like it's good. Joe Mixon, yeah, I'd take a punt. I think these guys have ceilings. Aaron Jones over some of these guys, for sure. I'd feel good there. Even Isaiah Pacheco, not as much, but I think like I could make the case for Pacheco slotting in just under these guys. So don't be afraid to take some reaches here. These are the guys you kind of want to drift away from. Pollard, Swift, Tracy, Caleb Johnson. These are the guys you want to kind of fade and have your 2-3 running backs on board and then attack and get these guys. Brian Robinson Jr., Najee Harris. These are the guys you want to try and target. Travis Etienne. This little range here feels pretty good having these guys here in this little range. Jordan Mason could be a good little late round addition, as does Bashal Tootin. He's another guy here I'd be keeping an eye on. Austin Eckler as well. All this nonsense, he's a cap casualty. It's just nonsense. They got the money, they're going to pay him. I'd keep keeping him. Jerome Ford, by the way, is really cheap. I'd be keeping an eye on him as well. I think there's a good case to keep him. Looking at the wide receivers, and again, I just think this is wonky. I'm not having Lamb at 3 over St. Brown and Neighbors and Nakua. Thomas seems high, but I try to make the case for him, but I still think this is the ceiling. Drake London, gotta watch the injuries, but yeah, okay, you can take a swing as a ceiling play in there. I love AJ Brown here. Feel that's good value. McConkey got more competition this year. Should separate, but I'm not sure I feel this Jackson Smith and Jigba move here. I think this is going to be an interesting one to watch. But I love Tyreek Hill here. I love Garrett Wilson here. I love Mike Evans here. Terry McLaurin. Even Devontae Adams, man. I think this is a good spot for him. DJ Moore. There's some really good values, Cortland Sutton. And in this round in the 50s, I mean, I think Jameson Williams is high, but I don't mind the rest of them here. And then you get into the rookie range here. I'd pass on these two. I'm quite happy taking Olave, a Waddle, and Addison, and Godwin all day long. I'd be happy to reach for these 4. I know Olave's got the concussion concerns. That's an issue. Waddle, we don't know what's like. We're dinking Tyreek Hill here, thinking, well, he might not play or whatever, but we're dinking Waddle. I don't really get that. And Jordan Addison, I think, is always going to be a solid wide receiver 2, and Chris Godwin can be anything from a minimum mid-range wide receiver 2 to a wide receiver 1. So I love what you get here. Roman Dunze here. It's some good values you pick it up. I love the values here of these 3, of Samuel, Cup, and Ayuk. And again, I think wide receiver is so deep, you don't need to litter yourself with 3 at the top and then go get running backs. I think running back runs deeper. I've been saying this, but I think that the opportunity market later on for some heavy hitting wide receivers, I'd be happy to go in the first 4 rounds, quarterback, 2 running backs, wide receiver, because there's such a litany here of wide receivers that I can just go and plug and play in this sort of 50, 60 range to go back to back wide receiver. So I could start QB, or I could start, running back, QB, running back, wide receiver, somewhere in the mix there. But your first 6 rounds, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 quarterback in the first 6 rounds feels like quite a good mix for me. And then I could go and hit running back hard later on with some guys later on. So I think there's some really good rooms, or you could even go 1 QB, 3 running backs, 2 wide receivers in your first 6 rounds, and then little up with them. The options are there for you to really play with them and get cozy. But yeah, check out this amazing tool on Draft Sharks. Got all the different platforms, so it is really, really good. So go check it out. Got everything you need here. Really cool tool. So yeah, go check this out. Have a little play, go through it. You can find some of these rankings on Fantasy Pros and Football Guys, whatever. I just like the way that these guys do it, and with the trend, you're seeing what they're doing over time. So again, we're watching like the trend of Mike Evans just sinking for no reason whatsoever. Like, this is just wild. that is sinking. We look at Devontae Adams, same thing. It's picked up a bit from the floor, but again, we're kind of just looking at it. We look at guys like Chris Godwin, like, this is hilarious. Just watching it fall off a cliff. Some concerns about an injury. Sure, it's Chris Godwin. This guy comes back early from injury. Like, yeah, you might sit him a while, but when he's back, he'll sit with good performance. So keep an eye on the preseason. That will give us a bit more of a tail. But if I was drafting today, I'd feel all right with his ADP. I feel like it's a good spot to be in. As I talked about on the show, or at the top of the show, I talked about this surprise. And so we have done in the past other shows. The one thing that we have never done is an NFL show. Now, I would love to do another pod full time, but I don't have that time to do it real justice. But there's some really talented individuals who are clawing and begging for an opportunity, and they're great guys. And I think they're going to have the opportunity to put something really good out there for our fan base, for Rush Nation, and for others. And I think what they want to do with, some of the teams and get some discussions going, I think it's going to be absolutely brilliant. So coming soon will be a new NFL style podcast, and let's take the opportunity now to meet who will be hosting that and heading that up.
My name is Chris, or better known as Tebs, and I'll be joining the 5 Yard Rush podcast. I've got some ludicrous takes about the NFL. I've got some good takes about the NFL, and hopefully we can find some middle ground where you don't think I'm an absolute lunatic about this sport. But all I hope is that you stay tuned and stay entertained.
Hi guys, Alex here, and I am going to be one of the legends that are part of 5 Yard Rush. I cannot wait to get started with all of you. A little bit about myself: I am a UK-based Chargers fan. There's not many of us, but I am one of them. So we're really, really looking forward to it. You're going to get some unpopular opinions from me, mainly, as well as plenty of beard talk. That is always what we're going to do. I look forward to seeing you guys there. See you soon.
What's going, guys? It's DJ here, and I'll be one of the 4 co-hosts that will be doing a show for the 5 Yards Rush NFL podcast. We'll be bringing some exclusive content to the podcast. We're going to have some news. We're going to have a lot of fan base zone interactions. So yeah, as you can see, Patriots fan. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled because content is coming very soon, and I'm very excited to get going. So see you all soon.
What is going down, Rush Nation? My name is the Joel Hewitt, 2024 5 Yard Live Draft Champions with the Red Ribbon Army, and now, I guess, new 5 Yard family member, doing the podcast once a week with DJ and the boys, talking all sorts of NFL bits, bats, and things going on throughout the week. A little bit about me: I have a hat or two. I'm a Saints fan, have been since just before Drew Brees, like literally only just before Drew Brees. And every now and again I have a bit of a flirt with the Jets. Try and get out to the games when I can, but I'm just really here to talk about the sport that we all know and love. Anyway, see you on the flip.
So there we have it. That was the incredible new podcast that will be coming our way in just a couple of weeks' time, I think, is when it will go live. So very exciting. Looking forward to those guys dropping the pod. Give them a lot of love. DJ is going to be taking over the socials of the channel. But I'm looking forward to seeing what they do. I'll be guesting from time to time whenever I can drop on by and keep my checks. So give them as much love as you've given Stocks and I over the coming years, over the coming months. They're going to do great, and they are really excited to bring you some amazing content, to bring you some NFL content with some fantasy content. Don't need to subscribe to another pod. It's all going to be here on the channel. So everything's going to be here for you. That is going to do it for this Sunday. Wanted to keep it short. I've kept it under half an hour. That is unheard of for me, but here we are. We have done it. I'm going to be back dropping some of these charity pod formats in the coming days. Please do subscribe to YouTube. I'm trying to clip the show, do some shorts with this, make this really a bit more interactive. Give us as much love. Give us a rating review on all podcast platforms. Really helps us out. We haven't asked for that for a while, but anything that can just help us out there. Be back with an amazing guest on Thursday. We'll get the show that we did with Bob Lung on Friday. What we're supposed to do with Bob on Friday in really, really soon. This coming Friday or the following Friday, depending on his schedule. But that's going to do it, Rush Nation. Thank you very much. As always, enjoy the rest of this really sweltering weekend. Keep safe in the heat next week. We are having a heat wave here in the UK. But until then, Rush Nation, don't forget, as always, keep rushing.